Berthold LB470 setup and calibration. The installation is complete, the shutter is in the open position, and the system is powered up. If you notice the count rate field on the home screen is displaying 0 on your gauge, ensure that the plus or positive terminal in the cabinet is connected to the number 1 terminal in the detector, and that the minus or negative terminal in the cabinet is connected to the number 2 terminal in the detector. If this is all correct, please contact Berthold Service for help diagnosing the issue. Let's proceed. You'll notice on the home screen the arrow tab in the lower right corner. We will refer to this as forward. And the arrow tab in the lower left will be referred to as back. In the upper left corner is the home tab. This will return you to the home screen. In the upper portion of the right side is the error handling tab. This will typically have a green icon in normal operation, a red icon when the system is not measuring due to an error, and a blue icon when the system is measuring but a condition exists that needs attention. In this case, the unit is not calibrated. Let's proceed. Forward, device setup, identification, location. Here we can assign a name for this specific gauge location by clicking Edit and entering the proper designation. We will call this Vessel 1. Back twice. Setup, system, date, time. Here we can make the proper adjustments to our date by selecting the drop-down menu and finding the correct setting. The time can be adjusted by selecting the incorrect field and making the corrections with the arrows to the right. The LB470 will automatically adjust your calibration every day based on the decay of the source for that day. So selecting the proper date, time, and isotope, more on the isotope later, has an impact on the continued accuracy of your gauge. Click Apply, then Back. Units. Here you will ensure that the proper units have been selected as you desire from the drop-down menus for your specific application. Back. Back again. Signal condition. Damping. Here you can adjust the time constant or damping value. If the gauge is not responding quickly enough, lower the time constant. If the measurement is noisy or changing too rapidly, increase the time constant. You may find adjustments are necessary after the calibration is complete and the gauge is running. Back. Back again. Calibration. Calibration settings. Let's start with background. You will want to read in the background if your source has not yet been installed, so you can get an accurate measure of the natural background. If your source is already installed, contact a Berthold Service Advisor concerning your specific application. Select nuclide from the table and ensure you have the correct isotope selected as we alluded to earlier. Select PV range. This setting will set the scaling for your 4 to 20 milliamp output. Typically, this will be from 0 to 100%. Make sure these settings relate to what the DCS or PLC is expecting on the other end of the output. We will be performing a simple open and closed calibration for this demonstration, which means we have an empty vessel and the shutter is open for our 0 point. Then closing the shutter to simulate a full vessel and read in our 100%. If you want a more precise calibration, you will need to get the vessel to the exact 0 and 100% conditions with your product. You can also add points in between for a total not to exceed of 11 calibration points. However, you want to have a physical verification of level at each point. Which brings us to the table. You will notice since this is a new setup and there are no calibration points in the table, we can create one by pressing the plus. Select what you want the process value to be for this point. We will say this is 0%. As mentioned, we have ensured that our vessel is empty and the source is open. Press the start. We have a 30-second read-in time selected. A longer read-in can be beneficial for better averaging, allowing the counts to further stabilize. When the time has elapsed, press OK. You will now see the new point populated in the table. Press the plus again. We'll now enter 100% for our process value. And now we will close the shutter to simulate the vessel full. And press start. When the time has elapsed, press OK. And we see the next field populated in our table. We'll now press back, calibrate, calibrate again, and we will confirm that we do want to overwrite the parameters from the previous calibration with a yes. Our calibration was successful. Click Close and Home. And we see our successful calibration.